Chapter 2. The Briefing. The fog came in off the Pacific and lay on the city like a wet gray sheet. Cade Mercer stepped off the morning ferry with his coat collar up and a fresh shave under it. 3 hours of sleep in a hotel a mile back. The city didn't need to know that. Neither did the office. The ferry had no hull in the water. It floated a foot above the bay, gliding across the chop without a splash, and slid up to the dock as soft as a held breath. Cade walked off with the early commuters, hands in his pockets, collar up. His ribs had stopped complaining sometime over the Atlantic. Nothing hurt now. A man who had done business in New York last night. No sign of it now. The city woke up around him. Monorails ran between the towers like silver thread. Out past the bridge, a passenger rocket lifted off a platform far out on the water and punched up through the fog, gone in seconds. Neon signs burned on the bay, red and blue and gold, soft in the gray light. Nobody looked twice at any of it. It was just morning. It was just the city. Cade didn't look at it long either. He was thinking about a dead man in New York and a missing one in Europe, and the fact that he had not slept a full night in 2 days. He walked up the hill toward the office. The FSA building stood at the top, glass and pale stone, looking out over the whole bay. From the street it could have passed for a bank. That was the point. The real work happened where the street couldn't see it. He went in through the front doors and into the part nobody got to see. First checkpoint, a guard who knew his face and checked his card anyway. "Morning, Reggie." "Morning, Mr. Mercer. How was New York?" Loud. "Usually is." Reggie scanned the card and handed it back. "One of these days you'll trust me. It's not personal." "That's what everyone says." Second, a scanner that read something under his skin and turned a small light green. Third, a steel door that only opened once the first two agreed. Each one slowed him down. Each one was meant to. A building easy to walk out of was a building easy to walk into, and Cade had made his peace with that a long time ago. By the time he reached the briefing room on the 40th floor, the coffee smell had reached him 3 doors early. The room was small. A long table. A blank white wall at one end for showing footage. 3 people already waiting, and the smell of coffee that had sat too long. Thomas Hale stood at the head of the table. 50s, gray at the temples, wide through the shoulders, a face that had spent years in the weather and years under office lights in about equal parts. He ran the San Francisco office now. Once he had done Cade's job. You could still see it in the way he stood, like a man who expected the floor to move under him. "You're a few minutes late," Hale said. "Good morning to you too. Sit down so we can start." Cade sat. Evelyn Cross was watching him from Hale's right. A closed folder under her hands, a coffee she had not offered to share. Late 30s, sharp eyes, the steady calm of someone who had read every ugly file in the building twice and lost sleep over none of them. "New shoes," she said. "Observant. That's my job. Then my professional observation is you look better in person than on a wire." She held his eye. Did not smile. Did not blush. Just filed it. The way she filed everything. "You always this smooth in the morning, Mercer?" "Only the mornings after." "After what?" "After nights I don't feel like discussing before 10. He knew her voice better than her face. She was the one on the other end of the wire most nights, the calm in his ear when everything around him was loud. In person, she was smaller than she sounded and twice as quick. The third man was younger, 30s. 3 screens open in front of him and the wired, hollow look of someone who had been awake as long as Cade had, but by choice. Miles Chen, train security. He knew the Berlin Express the way other men knew their own kitchen. "Coffee's by the door," Chen said. "You're going to want it. Trust me." Hale waited until Cade had a cup in his hand and had drunk half of it. 3 days ago, Hale said, a man named Henry Voss got on the Berlin Express in London. He never got off. "I got the short version on the wire," Cade said. "Missing scientist." "Missing," Hale said. "Not dead. I want you to hold on to that word." Cade looked at him over the cup. "No body." "No body, no blood. No broken glass, no sign of a fight. Nobody saw him go, and the train never stopped to let him off. Hale folded his hands on the table. Dead men leave something behind. A mess. A reason. Voss left a cold cup of coffee and an empty seat. That sits worse with me than a body would. Cade drank the rest of the coffee. It was bad and hot and exactly what he needed. "Show me," he said. Chen tapped a screen, and the white wall came alive. It showed the inside of a train car. Clean. Bright. Half full. A small clock ran in the corner of the picture, counting up by the second. "Car 4, Chen said. "Camera over the rear door. Best angle we've got." A man sat at a table near the middle, gray suit. His eyes kept drifting toward the rear of the car. Every few seconds he looked over his shoulder, like he expected someone to come through the door. "Voss," Cross said. Cade watched him. The man on the wall had the look of someone waiting for bad news he already knew was coming. His eyes kept going up the aisle. "He's scared," Cade said. "We thought so too," said Cross. "Keep watching." On the wall, Voss stood up all at once. He walked toward the back of the car, out of the frame. "Where's he going?" Cade asked. "The gap between the cars," Chen said. "There's a blind spot there, 2 steps wide. No camera looks straight at it." He didn't look happy saying it. "Convenient," Cade said. "That's the polite word." The picture held on the empty car. The clock kept counting. Then the wall went black. Not dim. Black. Dead. "There," Chen said softly. "Watch the clock." When the picture came back, the clock had jumped. 3 seconds, gone. The car looked the same. Same seats, same sleepy faces. But the table near the middle was empty now. No man. "Run it again," Cade said. Cross shifted in her chair. "We've watched it about 40 times. Make it 41. Chen ran it again. Same thing. Voss stands. Voss walks back. Black. 3 seconds. Voss gone. "Every camera died at once," Cade said. "You're sure of that?" "To the eye, yes. All 41 feeds, dark in the same blink." "To the eye. What about the logs? The machine writes down when each one drops, down to the small numbers." Chen paused. Then he pulled up a long column of times and ran a finger down it. He went still. "Huh," he said. "Talk to me." "They didn't all drop together. Not exactly. It's tiny. Thousandths of a second. But there's an order to it." He looked up, and for the first time, he looked less like a tired genius and more like a man who had just found a spider in his bed. Car 4 went first, then the 2 cars on either side. Then it spread out from there, both directions, like a wave. "So it didn't fail," Cade said. "Somebody switched it off, starting in car 4. Nobody spoke for a moment. The dead black wall stared back at all of them. 40 times, Cross said quietly, and not one of us read the small numbers. "You were watching the man," Cade said. "You're supposed to. I get to watch the machine." "Could a thing do that from inside the car?" Hale asked. "It would have to be in the car," Chen said. "Or right under it. Close. You can't kill that system from London or from up in orbit without us seeing it ripple in from the edges. This went the other way. This started in the middle and pushed out." He sat back. "Which means whatever did it was riding the train." "Or who?" Cade said. Hale slid a thin folder across the table. Cade opened it. A photograph, a few pages, most of them more black bar than word. The photo showed Voss, younger than the man on the train. Tired eyes even then. "Dr. Henry Voss," Cross said. "Senior research scientist, orbital power integration." "Meaning?" Cade asked. "He makes sure half the things above the atmosphere stay in the air," Cross answered. "He designs and maintains orbital power systems. Satellites, relay platforms, long-range energy transmission. If it stays powered above the atmosphere, odds are Voss worked on part of it." "So why him?" Cross folded her hands. "That," she said, is what we'd like you to find out. Cade glanced down at a photo. Scientists don't usually get kidnapped, he said. No, Cross answered. Which is exactly why you're on the next flight, Hale informed. Cade turned the pages, research summaries, personnel reviews, patents. Enough to tell him Voss was brilliant. Nothing to explain why someone would pull him off a moving train. He shut the folder. So I'm not looking for a missing scientist, Cade said. I'm looking for the reason somebody decided he was worth taking. Nobody jumped in. Why was he alone? Cade said. Hale and Cross traded a look. Small. Quick. Cade caught it the way he caught everything this morning. Slow and whole. He asked to be, Hale said at last. Voss hated security. Said escorts made everyone look in his direction. Cade sat with it. A scientist who chose to travel alone. Cameras that didn't fail but were switched off, from the inside, starting in his car. None of it was impossible on its own. All of it stacked together made a wall with no door in it. You're quiet, Cross said.
Yeah.
I'm counting the things that shouldn't have happened, Cade said. I ran out of fingers a while ago. Then you'll like this part, Cross said. Nobody else does. She opened her own folder and laid a row of statements across the table. Cade pulled them toward him. A man, he said. A man, Cross agreed. Dark coat, dark glasses, standing in car 4 near midnight, doing nothing at all. Voss's car. Voss's car. How many people saw him? 3 are sure they did. A woman with a magazine, a man traveling on business, one of the attendants. They describe him almost the same. Tall, very still, dark glasses he had no reason to wear at midnight. So you've got a suspect? No, Cross said. We've got a ghost. She slid the next page over. He's on no camera, not one frame, the whole trip. And now we know the cameras only blinked for 3 seconds. The rest of the night they worked fine. He should be sitting in hours of footage. He's in none of it. No ticket sold fits him, no seat booked. And the attendant who swears she saw him also turned in her count for the car that night. How many? 8 passengers in car 4. Cade looked at the page. Voss made 9. The man made 10. The attendant had counted 8, served 8, and then written a careful paragraph about a 10th man she had watched stand by the door. She counted 8, Cade said, and remembers 10. Half the car remembers him, Cross said. The other half would swear in front of anyone that the spot by the door stood empty all night. Same train, same car, same hours. Cade read the statements himself, all the way through. Slowly. He read them the way he had watched the room at the bar in New York. Not for what they said, but for what didn't line up. The woman with the magazine, a tall man by the door, glasses, never spoke. The businessman, a long dark coat, never sat down. The attendant, a quiet car, 8 people, and then a long, exact account of a man who, by her own count, hadn't been there. He set the pages down and squared the edges. For the first time since a balcony in New York, something woke up and stretched behind his eyes. Not the dead man, not even the blackout. This is the part that bothers me, he said. Good, Hale said. It's the part that bothers me too. A locked train I can chase. A blackout I can chase. A man half a car remembers and no machine ever saw. That's a different kind of problem. Or a very good one, Cade said. Good enough to leave 10 people arguing about whether he was even real. That's not a ghost. That's training. I want all of it, he went on. Passenger list, crew, maintenance logs, every report filed that night. It's a lot of reading, Chen said. I've got a long flight. Cross passed him a thick folder and a flat reader loaded with the rest. Cade started in while the others talked around him. He let their voices run on. Most of his mind was on the pages. 62 names in the cars near Voss. Most held up fine under a first look. Families, sales reps. A tour group out of Lyon, booked together, all of them accounted for. One name didn't hold up. Near the bottom. Boarded in London. Car 5. the car right beside Voss, listed as a businessman. The name was Reland. Paid cash. No company anyone could find. A home address that turned out to be a laundry on a street that didn't run that far. He had gotten off at New Berlin with everyone else. And then nothing. No hotel. No onward train. No trace past the end of the platform. A man who paid cash to ride one train, under a name that led nowhere, and stepped off the end of the line into clean air. Cade flipped to the crew logs, then stopped. There was a hole in them. The service record for Car 4 had an entry the night before the trip, and then the entry was gone. Not blank. Removed. The line numbers ran 18, 19, then 21. 20 had been lifted out, the way you only notice a page is missing from a book because the numbers skip. Chen, Cade said. Who serviced Car 4 the night before Voss boarded? Chen frowned, dug into a screen, typed. Frowned harder. That's strange, he said. It's the theme of the day. There should be a name. Every job gets signed. This one's... He sat back slowly. It's been pulled. The whole work order. Somebody reached in and took it out of the system. Clean. The night before. In Car 4. Yeah. Cade laid it out in his head, plain and quiet, the way he liked things. A man services Car 4 the night before, then scrubs himself out of the record. A ghost stands in Car 4 at midnight that half the witnesses won't swear to. The blackout starts in Car 4 and rolls outward, and a man with a fake name rides the next car over and walks off the map in New Berlin. It wasn't an answer, it wasn't close to one, but the whole mess leaned the same way, like grass under a single wind, toward Car 4, and then east, toward New Berlin. Get me the name on that work order, he told Chen. I don't care how long it takes. A man who scrubs himself out of a log almost always forgets a corner somewhere. On it, and find Reland, or whoever wore the name. He got off that platform and went somewhere. Cade closed the folder. I'm going, he said, and stood. The new shoes did not make a sound on the carpet. Hale rose with him, came around the table, and put out a hand. Cade took it. Listen to me a second. Hale's voice dropped, just for him. I ran cases for 20 years. People vanish. There's always a thread, always a body at the end of it. Always a plain, ugly reason once you dig far enough. This one doesn't behave like that. It doesn't behave at all. He held the grip a beat longer. Be careful what you pull on. Sometimes the thread is holding up something heavy. You worried, Director? Yes, Hale said. No dressing on it. I am. Cade believed him. That was the thing about Hale. He didn't spend the word unless he meant it. Cross walked him to the elevator. I'll be on the other end of the wire, she said. Same as always. You find something, you call me. You start bleeding, you call me sooner. I'll live. You keep saying that like it settles something. She put a slim envelope in his hand. Papers. A clean name if you want one. New Berlin can be unfriendly to ours. The doors opened. She held his eye. Bring him back if you can. Bring the truth back either way. Which one matters more? You already know, she said, or I'd have sent someone easier. The airport sat south of the city, out over the water on a platform of its own. Cade boarded with 100 strangers who all had somewhere better to be. The doors sealed. The launch cradle rotated. The plane tilted back until the aircraft stood straight up above the bay, pointed at the sky like a missile. Nobody reacted. A man kept reading his newspaper. A woman kept watching a tiny television built into her handbag. The engines fired. San Francisco disappeared beneath them. Gone into the fog in seconds, the aircraft punched through the clouds and leveled out high above the Pacific. Then it accelerated. The coastline vanished. The ocean became a sheet of gray far below. Europe was already drawing closer. He didn't watch it go. He had the folder open on his knee, the photo of Henry Voss sitting on top of the pile. Tired eyes, a soft, clever face. A man someone had decided was worth taking, worth wiping off every camera on a moving train. Cade studied it a long time. He was good at faces. He liked to know one before he went looking for it. Then he looked out the window. White cloud far below, racing past. The ocean already behind him. Europe an hour away, somewhere out beyond the edge of the light, coming closer at a speed that would have scared a saner man. "All right, doctor," he said, low, to the photograph and the glass and nobody at all. "If you're alive, I'm coming to find you." He closed the folder. "If you're not, I'm coming anyway."